Welcome to the On Your Mind podcast, where we are changing the mental health narrative, bringing hope and solutions. Here's your host, Timothy J. Hayes, psychologist.
Silvia Subirana is a clinical psychologist and head of content development at MyDry30. MyDry30 is an app that helps users transform their relationship with alcohol and find greater meaning and fulfillment in their lives. Well, welcome, Silvia. Thank you for joining me. It's delightful to see you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into and associated with the MyDry30 app and this program?
So I'm a clinical psychologist, and I have always been very interested in the connection between the body and the mind because apart from studying psychology, I've always been a dancer. So for me, dancing was a very powerful tool to process my emotions and to connect my mind and my body, right? And when I was studying, I realized that we learned a lot about the mind, but we didn't really learn about how the body is connected. So I started digging a bit more when I was studying my master's degree to become a clinical psychologist. I started digging a bit more, and that's when I started practicing yoga and different types of meditation. And that's when I started getting interested in hypnotherapy or hypnosis. And one day, it was a bit of luck, I was looking at different projects related to hypnotherapy, and I found the MyDry30 app that was going to be developed. It was just a project that was starting back then. And it helped people to have a better relationship with alcohol through hypnosis and other tools. But hypnosis was the principal tool. And it really resonated with me because firstly, I was getting very, very interested in hypnotherapy, but also I had stopped drinking for around 5 years before that because I had a lot of gut issues and stomach problems. So I just decided to quit alcohol out of my life. So I realized that was a very interesting path for me to help people understand the benefits of not drinking alcohol at any age, right? Even because when I started drinking, I was still doing my master's degree. So everyone around me was drinking and going out and alcohol was everywhere. So I just contacted the MyDry30 team saying, hey, I'm really interested in working with you because I have all this knowledge and I also want to be able to help people discover the benefits of having a better relationship with alcohol.
Wonderful. And of course, we all understand that alcohol is pretty much, everywhere. And a lot of people use it in social settings. And there are a certain percentage of people that don't have any problem with it. And the debate rages on with our researchers about whether or not there is any healthy level of alcohol or if a glass or two of red wine is healthy. And that debate can go on back and forth with the scientists as much as possible. That doesn't change the fact that some people have a very different response to alcohol. And it's toxic. It is harmful to their physiology and their relationships and their careers. And for those who have a difficult time managing the use of alcohol, a program like this is it's wonderful because most people these days carry their phones with them everywhere they go. So the app is right there on the phone. And can you tell us a little bit about the different features and aspects of the app? As I understand it, it's a program where you're inviting people to join for 30 days and get daily exercises and prompts and reminders.
It's a different approach because there's a lot of programs out there that are like 30-day break of alcohol, right? And you just stop for 30 days. Or if you think of dry January, it's only not drinking for 31 days, right? But then people are just waiting until February starts so they can go back to the whole old habits, which, having a break of drinking alcohol can be beneficial. But in the end, you just go back to your habits. You're not learning anything from you. You're just going back to everything how it was before. So what we are trying to do is helping people understand the reason why they're drinking. And we're not demonizing alcohol. We're telling people you can choose, but for me, that's the key word, choose. You do it out of a choice. You don't do it out of habit or because it's automatic for you or as a coping mechanism, because a lot of people feel an unpleasant emotion and they just drink alcohol to numb it. But in the end, that's not a healthy coping mechanism because you're not dealing with that emotion, right? So with the app, we're helping people understand the relationship that they have with alcohol and for them to improve that relationship. So after those 30 days, they can go back to drinking, but out of choice because they choose to drink, not because they're trying to numb something or because it's out of a habit, right? So the app has 30 minutes a day during 30 days of different exercises. And the longer one is hypnotherapy. It's 15 minutes of hypnotherapy where you just put some headphones on and relax and listen to what the voice says. And hypnotherapy basically works through first you get into a very deep state of relaxation where you're perfectly conscious of what's going on. You don't lose consciousness or anything. It's not like in the movies, right? When they tell us that hypnosis is like they just click the fingers and you're gone, right? You're still conscious of everything. It's just that all that noise in your mind, all those problems, all that conscious worries, just they start to disappear or at least dial down, and they don't have that much power, right? And you're starting to connect with that state of relaxation with your inner self. And in that state of relaxation, you're more open to suggestions. Of course, you're not going to do anything that's against your values or against your will, right? If I tell you you're going to rob a bank, you're not going to rob a bank because that's not in your idea, that's not in your values. But if I'm telling you, if you have the thought of, I want to have a better relationship with alcohol, or I want to reduce my intake, and I tell you, next time you go out with friends, you're not going to have a drink, or you're going to have only one drink, those suggestions start to cave into your system. And then little by little, the urges that you will have after stopping to drink alcohol, because those urges are quite common, will have less and less power, because the body will stop or will change that connection that before it was, there's the urge. And then because of the urge, you have that anxiety, right? The body just gets tense because it needs that substance, and you get that urge and then you drink, right? So with hypnotherapy, when you have that urge, that anxiousness, that tension will also lose power. So instead of having that massive urge that you don't know how to deal with the body little by little associates it with that relaxation of hypnosis, right? So those urges little by little lose that power and are more manageable. So that's basically how hypnosis works. And that's 15 minutes a day. And then after that, you have some journaling questions to reflect about different aspects of your life. And that you can take, 5-10 minutes a day to write about it, depending on how long you want to talk about it. And then you have reading, that it's a short reading on different topics related to mental health or physical health, like creating habits or how sugar affects our body, or the importance of connections and talking to people around you. And we're also implementing now a 5-minute video stretch, a lot of stretches. So you can just move your body a little bit and have that mind-body connection that I was talking about before, even more than with hypnotherapy.
Excellent. As I was looking through the website, MyDry30.com, MyDry30.com, I got the sense that along with the hypnotherapy, these targeted journaling prompts are there to help us explore what we might be holding as a belief or a fear or a trauma energy within us that's not at the conscious level. And there was even on the website one of the very famous quotes from Carl Gustav Jung, who said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate. And so the exploration of these things that we hold in our minds that we've somehow decided they aren't safe or they aren't healthy for us to look at. So we're literally using our own mind energy to push it aside. And that's what we call the unconscious. And this app gives people the benefit of lots of years of study on some of the most effective tools that therapists have used over the last, 5 or 6 decades, and put it at their fingertips and put it in a concise, well-configured way so that they don't have to go do all the research. They can just open the app and start stepping themselves through a program of self-exploration. And of course, in the field of therapy, what we say is there's no such thing as bad self-knowledge. That the more you learn about what's buzzing around inside of you or down in the body and getting resonated into activity, the less you have to be driven by it as though you have no choice. The more, as we say, as you say, you get back to choice and you have options. So I was really pleased with that, what I saw about the content of the app and the way it's structured.
Yeah, it has a lot of interesting points because it's not only about the benefits of not drinking alcohol. It's way more than that. It's connecting with yourself. It's learning, as I said before, it's learning why you're drinking and why you're doing that habit, and understanding that, as you said, there's many choices. Even though we don't think that there are, you have plenty of choices to make, right? And when you start connecting with your values and what resonates with you, then you're more connected to those choices, and you're more able to choose something that aligns with your values, because sometimes we just live on autopilot and we don't realize that we're not doing what we want to do or what our body is telling us to do, right? And for me, it's a very interesting tool because sometimes, or many times, the body gives us signals that we just avoid. We don't put attention on what the body is telling us. And the body, like, obviously, when we don't put attention on that and pay attention to what the body's telling us, the body starts making those signals bigger, right? Like, for example, when I said at the beginning that I had gut issues and that's why I stopped drinking in the first place, ironically, I was studying psychology, but I didn't really know how to deal with anxiety. And even though I was studying how to help people, I didn't know how to help myself. And I didn't really think that it was that important for me to learn until in the end, my body just kind of put a pause on it and said, now you're going to get sick, right? But when I started thinking before getting that massive gut infection that I had had insomnia for, I would say, a year. I started having acne that I never had acne before. I started getting bloated. I started having difficult digestion. So before getting that infection, my body was starting to not function well, right? And I just didn't pay attention to that. And then after me having that infection where I said, okay, and now I have to stop. Now I have to take care of what's going on. I realized all those signals that my body was sending and the importance of them.
And they've been there all along.
Exactly. And when I shared that with many people around me, I realized that is so common, that so many people have those signals for years and they just avoid them until they are like very, very big. And you basically cannot have a healthy life anymore because it's like, for example, I started losing a lot of weight and I felt very weak, right? And eventually I had to go to the doctor, right? So that, like, the app makes us be more connected with the body and what the signals that the body is telling us, and to stop and just listen to hypnotherapy and give us that time to focus on ourselves and to relax and to just listen to an external voice and dial down the pressure of the external world and how everything just goes fast. And you just give yourself those 30 minutes a day to stop and take care of yourself it has so many benefits, that even if you don't want to stop drinking alcohol, just by all the self-knowledge that you get of yourself, I always say that it's an incredible tool, because, as you said before, self-knowledge is always welcome, is always good to have, because then you'll be more connected with what you want and what you need.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's, when you were talking, I was just thinking about 3 different books recently that I've read, and they're targeted to things like women with eating disorders and people who've had a cancer diagnosis, and an individual who was had a mother that was not very attentive. And each of these 3 books I've read were so well done, and they're tapping into the things that really work across the board, whether it's self-evaluation or clarity of intentions and values, and creating a sense of life purpose, and exercises for uncovering what might be blocking me. That I've had the urge, and in some cases I've done it, to refer these books to people who have nothing to do with either the cancer diagnosis or an eating disorder or a mother who was inattentive, because what works really works across the board. And that's what I liked about the MyDry30 app, is that it taps into hypnosis. And the founder, as I understand it, found out about another app that was very successful in helping people who struggled with irritable bowel syndrome. And it was focused on using hypnosis. And then another app I think you mentioned that helped people with stopping smoking, that also use hypnosis. So it's blending a lot of time-tested and well-established tools for our self-exploration and for our changing of unproductive habits. And as we say, it's in a very convenient format. It's on your app on your phone or whatever your primary activity device is. So it looks like it's fully launched, this app, right? And we have a beautiful website. I was very pleased with how well I could navigate through the MyDry30.com website. What's another aspect of this app that maybe we haven't even mentioned yet, or to go back and talk about something that we've already mentioned that you want to put in here that makes it a really exciting thing for you to be involved with this project?
For me, it's all the little details that all the team have we've sat down many times all together and be like, okay, how can we make this app better for people to have as many resources as possible? And I understand we've ended up putting so many resources that someone could use the app not only for 30 days, but they could use it for 60, because we've added a toolkit where there's different exercises to deal with strong emotions or gratitude, or many, many different things that are part of that self-knowledge journey that we talked about before. And that is completely optional, but it's out there. And yeah, you still have access to all the tools, right? There's also some therapists, psychologists that are in the app that you can book an appointment with them and have that extra individualized treatment or help if you need it. It doesn't need to be like a psychotherapy per se. It can be just a little help, or just to redirect where you want to go or what you want to learn about yourself a little bit. But also there's these little messages or banners that we've added. We've added 9 in total for now, and we call them action days and connection days. And we have 5 action days and 4 connection days, and they are on random days. And the action days are more like, okay, today we encourage you to do this action. For example, one action is to take the blood pressure, go to your closest pharmacy, and just take your blood pressure, right? It's free in many pharmacies, and it's a very easy act. And many of us don't know our blood pressure. And in people that drink frequently, the blood pressure tends to be quite high, right? So just knowing that number can give you, again, a signal from your body saying, hey, you need to check on that. You need to be aware of that number. You need to be aware of your health, right? On how your body is working.
Well, as you
Or,
say,
for
that's just
example,
another really good example of reconnecting and being more aware of the physical signals that your body is sending you.
Exactly. And that's just one example of one action day. And then an example of a connection day is we know that when we grow, we lose a lot of people in our lives. Life gets busy, and sometimes it's very, very easy to just drift apart with people. Even if you don't have any sort of problem with them, life just brings you to like other paths, right? And we are social animals. We need to have connection. We need to be surrounded by people that we love and that love us, right? Not only family, but also friends. And when you have bad habits, a lot of people that drink alcohol very frequently have had fights or disagreements with their loved ones. And in the end, we just encourage them to increase those connections, have better connections. And for example, one connection day is it's a gratitude day, right? And it's literally, we just tell you, send a message to someone that you're grateful for to have in your life, or that has done something that you appreciate, and just tell them, thank you, that has really helped me, or thank you for being in my life, I really appreciate it, right? It takes 15 seconds to type a short message, and that person is going to be so happy to receive that, and you're going to be happy to make them happy as well, right? Because that's a person that you love and that you enjoy spending time with and that you appreciate it in your life. So we just play with those little acts that take like no longer than 5 minutes for people to just create better connections or be more aware of what's going on with their bodies. So those days that are like literally is only a banner that you receive with like a suggestion, they're very powerful. And even if someone doesn't do all of them, even if you do 2 connection days and 2 action days, you have so many more benefits that it's just worth it.
Yeah, there's so much about doing the little things that nudge us towards goals that we'd like to accomplish. And I appreciate how well this thing is put together, and the obvious thoughtfulness in the website. And I'm just very pleased that you're willing to share this with us and help get the word out there about the MyDry30 app. Now, if people have specific questions, what's the best way for them to ask or get in touch with you? Is it through the MyDry30.com?
Through MyDry30.com, there's a contact form that they can definitely send questions there. And our team will be happy to help. We're also very active on our Instagram, so they can send a DM on Instagram, a direct message through Instagram if Instagram is what they prefer using. They can also contact me directly. My email is Silvia, so SILVIA at MyDry30.com. I can send you all this so you can add it in the description or anywhere, so maybe it's a bit easier. And yeah, we'll be happy to help with any questions that people might have. We also understand that it's a different project or a different approach, so the app is open for 7 days, so people can have a look and see how the program is and how it works. And if they're not convinced by it, they don't have to pay anything. It's completely free to just delete it, and that's it. They won't have to subscribe to anything, because we want to give it as a resource for people that feel that they are connected, or that they feel that they can get a benefit from it. But everyone's different, right? And if someone doesn't feel like that app will work for them, we understand. They can just delete it, and that's it. And then on the 7th day, to continue the rest of the until day 30, we have a subscription. But that subscription, we made it very affordable for people to be able to explore that option. It's $30 for 30 days. That's what we say. $30, 30 days, 30 minutes, right? A day. And I'm going to send you a link as well for the subscribers of your podcast that they can have a 20% discount. So if they click on that link, they'll receive a code. So it's even cheaper than $30. And if you're going to give up alcohol for 30 days, if you go out and drink a couple of cocktails, it's already $30, right?
Exactly.
So it's, so if you're going to stop drinking or moderate your intake for a month, then you'll eventually still save money. So that's why we made it very affordable, because as well, we have professionals working that need, like that app needs to be suspended, right? But at the same time, we don't want to make it a very unapproachable program, because then that's not the purpose of what we have. We want to help as many people as possible to understand the importance of self-knowledge and being more aligned with their choices.
Yeah, and giving people choice for the significant decisions they're going to make in their lives about their health and their alcohol intake and as I've looked at the app, and their relationships and their life purpose and things like that. So it's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. It's Silvia at MyDry30.com. And I look forward to hearing about your successes. I hope you'll keep me posted.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Silvia Subirana is a clinical psychologist and head of content development at MyDry30. MyDry30 is an app that helps users transform their relationship with alcohol and find greater meaning and fulfillment in their lives. By combining her master's in clinical psychology with the app's tools like hypnotherapy, journaling, and more, Silvia takes a holistic approach focusing on the powerful connection between mind and body to inspire lasting personal growth and intentional living. Find more at MyDry30.com. That's MyDry30.com.
You've been listening to the On Your Mind podcast, offered by Journey's Dream, where we support people through mental health challenges to a place of true and lasting well-being. If you love our show, we invite you to visit onyourmindpodcast.org to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our helpful resources. Thank you for listening.